Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to part 40 of the Bang Shishigami project. So, I've been watching this whole way through. If this is the 40th episode, the end of this would be approximately one, if you have a 9 to 5 job, 1 week from nothing to bam. Here we are. Here is Bang. And I'll be honest, I've been a little busy since the last session. It's the next day, but I've put another coat on the green because it was looking really blotchy, and I still have enough paint to do one more if I ever wanted to. And I have 2 more coats on the red. So in total I now have 4 coats on the red and 3 on the green. I also did 1 more coat on all this metalwork because that was looking really blotchy. So I try to get a lot of the stuff you've seen before kind of ironed out. And the goal for this session is now basically to try to get everything except possibly the decals, the one on the one shoulder, one on the other, and the one on the back, which if we bring here, the one on the back. So I pretty much want everything except those to be done. So what that means is I'm going to put at least a coat of metal paint on these. I might do a second coat afterwards, or as many as it takes to make it non-blotchy. I need to get a coat of the gold down here, at least the first coat on the filigree. And then after those are done, I'm going to pull out the metallic version and put the metallic paint on top of those, on top of the buttons, and make those all shine. I need to do another coat on the belt and the top of the gauntlets, which you can't see from this view, and then lighten up the hair. And really, if I don't get through all that, the next one will 100% be, he will be done. I would like to attach the next session to making the base. So if I could, physically doing these decals, I don't think is going to be a time-consuming commitment, but it's more of pre-planning, getting it all right out. I might have to draw on with like a pencil or something, kind of what I'm doing. I'm not 100%. That's one of those I've been really nervous about this entire time. So I don't really have a game plan for that at this point, but I think physically doing it shouldn't be too bad. And if I can get to a point where I can just, I can combine it with something else, with say the base, that would be good. And if I'm doing the cobblestone base, I believe this session is going live on Friday. That would mean Saturday would be the decals, and I can carve out the cobblestone part. And, oh right, I'm doing the metal stuff first. I can do that and I can carve out those areas. And then after that, on the Sunday, hopefully I can then go and paint everything, and it will just be, by Sunday, this will be done, and then we will move on from there. So first things first, I kind of keep forgetting this is the thing, considering I'm making it, and I honestly don't know if I'm really gonna use this in his ultimate kind of layout when I kind of store him or put him on a shelf or put him on. So putting him on a shelf sounds really bad. If I put him on display, that sounds a lot nicer way of saying I'm done. But yeah, I'm not sure this is done, so I just kind of forgot that it existed. So let's go and put that down there. Let's go get a coat on you. This is still going to be interesting trying to fit this nail into the holder there, into the scarf, because like I said, it was tight before, and now this is going to have a total of 6 coats of paint. 6 or 5 or whatever coats of paint on there. I have a layer of primer on that, a layer of primer on this, a layer of paint on that, and it's going to be 2 layers at least on this, one of the under, and it's probably going to wind up 2 of this color. So that might need a little WD-40 or something to get that to slide in. We're gonna play that one by ear. Okay, here we go. Yeah, a number of these individual spots shouldn't take too long. This should be another kind of one of those hodgepodge days, but just like kind of at work, when we get to an end of a project, both the clients and everyone I work with knows that I make punch lists for like the last week or 2 of a project. We're just like, if anybody can think of literally anything that has to be done. It goes on there. It can be as big as like, oh, we need to tile the floor, grout the floor, put on trim for the windows, paint the windows, do that type of stuff. To anything as small as remember to put plate covers on all of like the electrical work and anything kind of in between, put register covers on and stuff like that. So usually I'll put a whole list of little kind of derpy detail stuff out. So if anybody has stuff they can add, if any of my coworkers have stuff to add, if any clients have things they want to add, they can put it to, and it just kind of becomes little kind of 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there kind of work. And that's kind of where we are right now on this. All of the big stuff is done. So now let's just do the final stuff, make it look good, and there we are. I was really hoping today was going to be the last one, but the decal stuff, I am not sure of this decal part. So, there is still, like I said, I spent like another hour or so doing these like third, fourth, whatever coats of the stuff I had done on a number of these, like on the metal, on the green, on the scarf. But there's still a lot of these others that I've only done one coat before. I said before, I want to have at least the first two coats kind of on camera because the two coats make a pretty good visual difference in it. Once you get to like coats 3 or whatnot, you're tired of seeing the same thing, and you kind of get diminishing returns, at least from a spectator perspective. So I don't feel so bad about doing those off camera. I do feel a little worse about putting you right in the middle of my work environment. Okay, fingers are now all silvery. Cool. But that should be it for that. And we are massively, we're already 10% of the way through this, but we got that done, and that was a big one. Okay, getting first coat of gold. I also now have fresh cleaning stuff again, so yeah, so I want to get this first coat of gold on here, so then I can do the belt stuff. I can come back to the second coat of gold, and I'm going to have the hair be kind of the last. Only because if I don't get that one done, I feel less bad about attaching that to the next session than I do about the other stuff. I feel like the other thing is kind of more little derpy detail oriented. I feel like the hair, finishing off the hair and getting the highlights on there, along with those decals, kind of fit in the same boat for me in terms of importance. So I would rather have them done together if need be than separate. Okay, time for what I was doing last time, which worked really well, I think, was we need to do one of these doohickeys because classes are coming off. The nice thing about doing, okay, I'm gonna hope I'm on screen. So, but the nice thing about doing the latest coats on, say, the green and the metal and all that was I kind of did one of these where I really kind of zoomed into these areas and got any little bit of white from the primer that was showing, any little kind of spill from one element to another. If the green was, if the black of the, like here, was over on top of the green or whatever, I made sure to kind of touch that up nice, and I did kind of a real good cleanup job on that, which was a lot easier to do this way rather than, or a lot easier to do kind of off camera, I think, than on camera. Just because I'm still not convinced this is the best way to be doing these kinds of detail-y painting things. Although I feel like I'm getting better at keeping this stuff on camera how it's supposed to be than, like, say, the first time I tried this, but still. Because it always is kind of a trick. I'm trying to keep myself steady, trying to keep my hands steady. I need to keep things on the camera. Apparently I need to talk just a little bit louder because, again, the camera here is my microphone. I still don't have a separate microphone that I'm using. So anytime I move it even slightly away from me, I feel like you can't hear what I'm trying to say, or it comes out very echoey. Or that could just be my headphones that I'm using when I listen to this after the fact. Might just be getting older and they just sound echoey. I'm not sure which. Could be both. I don't know. But well, I can see the leg is on camera. I can't tell if what I'm actually painting is on camera. So I guess that's a start. Yeah, I think I'm there. I can see movement. I can't, if I were to just stare at the screen, I wouldn't be able to tell you what's on the screen because of my vision, but I can see movement. So I can see if stuff is happening. So if I do like a little jiggle, I can see that I can make sure things are on camera. It's like I'm blind to some extent, but I'm not that blind. I want to say my vision's like a -6 or something like that. So it's not great, but it's not technically the worst in the world. Okay, well now I'm 100% on the wrong side for you to see. Which is fine, because I really didn't put anything on the brush. Whatever I put on the brush, I wiped right back off again before it got to the model. Okay, at least this is going, I feel like, slightly faster than last time. Although it didn't go super slow last time either. Okay, now I can almost guarantee I'm blocking stuff. We're good underneath. Oh, it's this little confluence area needs it. Okay, so there's a little bit where they join, and then we have our little kind of filigree sections. And then we should be good. Then I can move on to the next thing, which will be the belt stuff. Good thing is I am still actually very far. I am now actually ahead of the game again in terms of recording stuff. This is Sunday. Like I said, this is going out on Friday. So I'm feeling finally good. I've been behind for so long that it feels good to be kind of ahead a little bit, especially considering if I want to take, like I said, the 2 weeks off. At least one of those weeks, if I want to start the next model, say a week ahead, like I started this one on, that means I'm really only taking 1 week off, because then I would need the other one to get ahead again. So there is a little bit of that reality that kind of has to sink in on that. And again, I'm saying I'm taking it off, and I'm not just going to disappear for the time. I will do something else on here. Maybe not the 5 days a week that I had been, but I will still do something. It's just not going to be on the modeling front. That's all. We got black paint where I didn't want to get black paint. And that's usually not good because black takes gold that does not color or does not cover black particularly well. I know that's going to come as a surprise, but it's true. But that's fine. At this point, Bang looks like what he's supposed to look like. I've already set him up on like one half of my basement. I've walked across, they're basically like probably from, if you go one diagonal to the other diagonal, we're probably like 25, 30 feet from one side to the other. And he reads very well from that distance still. He looks like what he's supposed to look like. I am pretty dang happy with how this turned out in the end. Given the quality of the stuff I've had, again, this is only the 4th model I've ever painted. It's the 3rd clay model, 4th project I'm going to say I've painted. Again, one of the other ones was one of the woodworking ones that you guys just aren't going to see because it was for somebody else and it's going to stay as that. It wasn't for anybody else here. So my experience on doing this is limited. But all in all, I think it's been coming out pretty okay. Again, if I'm going to compare this to other people online who are doing it, who knows, some of them are crazy good. Generally, you don't post your stuff unless you're crazy good, so I feel like I'm just in the crazy part for trying to post these things at the skill level that I am at. But at the same time, I'm feeling good about it, and nobody's cursing me out for this. So it's like a win-win. Okay, so at least there is still a little bit of white up there, which I should probably touch that up with a little bit of green. But, okay. We now have the gold on there, so everything at least has a coat of the gold. That said, I did put a second coat of gold on the fingers here, as well as I'd cut in against the knuckles where he has just that little bit right at the edge. So I did do just a little bit more of that off camera, but not much. Okay, so now we want that to dry for a few minutes. So let's go and do that fake black color and get the top of the gauntlets and the belt one more time so that we can cross that off the list. One more reason that I don't feel bad about not finishing this one today is after this is done, this will give me one more chance to, if anything needs like a 3rd coat or let's say an additional coat or whatever, I can just kind of do those off camera and not feel bad. It'll be done. So little derpy stuff like that does make me feel a little better. Okay, so at some point in time, I'm gonna probably need to get myself some new brushes. Let's see, that was a custom color. So I'm going back into my... If you want to know where my custom colors are, these are all my custom colors I've been doing. These 3 here are the latest 3. Those are like the skin tones and the early stuff I had done. But yeah, I do have the hair custom color I'd done, but I think when I do highlights on that, I'm not going to use it. I might just go and start with the brown again and just go from there. Let's go and start with you guys. This had better be the one. Also, once again, we will be doing... Sorry, we'll move the camera back. No. No. Let's see. So if I'm... Where am I going? I go like right there. I'm in a sweet spot. Okay. Would be nice to actually, considering how these guys are pretty much entirely cut in, would be nice to actually get that right. So would be nice. Like I said, I might do final things after this video, but at the same time, if I don't have to do any more final stuff after the video, that would be kind of nice too. Come on, steady hands. Oh, if my high school self could see me now doing this. Because, yeah, I was the guy in chemistry class who could not get one of those pipettes into the thing. We were like doing DNA stuff, whatever. I just could not get the pipette into the thing. I did not have the eye-hand coordination to do that. And somewhere between past me and present me, something seems to have changed in a good way. And now eye-hand coordination is great. But the funny thing is, present me still sometimes thinks I'm just like I haven't changed since like the high school times. When it comes to like the fitness stuff, whatever, like I said, I have signed up for some of the hardest obstacle course races, at least like they kind of offer in the country and whatnot. I've done pretty well on them, but at the same time, I still view myself as like the skinny little high school track guy who literally, when they went to the weight room, the only weight I could like bench press or whatnot was the bar, and that was it. So I still, I know things have changed, but it's amazing how much you still kind of think of yourself, or what kind of age group or whatever you think of yourself as, where your mind actually goes. So I'm still always kind of amazed at things I can do now compared to what my mind still kind of pictures everything being. Because, yeah, I was like 140 pound, 150 pound, nothing back then. I had zero upper body. I couldn't do anything. I could run, but that was about it. The weight room was a scary place because everyone was like kind of showing off. You can do this, that, and the other. And I was there literally bench pressing the bar. And my brain hasn't gotten over the fact that I'm not that little skinny kid anymore. Also, I forgot to mention since last time, I did put on fingernails. That took all of like 2 seconds to do. I think I just used a vanilla white or something like that. Just kind of dabbled a little bit on. So, Bang does have fingernails now. It's one of those tiny details it takes no time to do, but it kind of makes, if you're looking that closely at something, it does make a visual difference. So, I don't know. It's one of those that makes me happy. I'll do them. I'll do them. No effort thing that makes a visual difference. Yes, please. Am I on camera? I am on camera. Cool. Okay, we got that in. I can move you. Whoop, 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 whoop. You're spinning the wrong way. Okay. Now we get to that belt that I was talking about before. We definitely need some cut-in on this. For sure. We're on... Yes, we are on camera. Yeah, just when I don't have the glasses on, I just don't trust that things are or are not on camera. I trust things are not on camera, and I kind of have to prove myself wrong. Okay, and I don't want to put any more paint on the brush if I don't have to. If I already have like a little bit amount of paint, that's like the perfect time to do these kind of real skinny cut-ins. Alright, we got this. We got this. That said, being as today is Sunday, I was saying last night in the other videos that I was going to go out on the Saturday night and do like a 10K run or whatever, which I did. And then right after, I would kind of finish with the quarter mile. I was gonna go for a quarter mile worth of lunges, where I just, yeah, it's slow going. It takes like probably 20 minutes, whatever, to do that distance. Dude, probably close to 10 minutes to do that distance, but whatever. It's slow. And yeah, I got about 200 yards. And my legs just kind of gave up the ghost. So either the legs hadn't fully recovered from the race I had done, because I had also done some kind of gym-ish workouts during the week, so maybe the legs were just sore from that, or the reason I was completely dead on my feet during that race, or part of that, was I was just out of shape to begin with. Because again, I had done about a half mile of those before in the past, and I am nowhere near that right now. So it looks like effectively the next couple weeks, I'm just going to be breaking down my quads completely. We're going to be doing that type of stuff, I'm going to say at least twice a week. And hopefully then throughout August, I can start rebuilding them stronger. I'm not sure if the 6 weeks is going to be enough to get where I want it to be, but yeah, that is absolutely a weakness I have right now. And we are not going to be able to, if I need any hopes of getting this Killington thing to work, we are 100% going to be working on that. It's actually, just doing the way I'm doing is actually kind of nice on the knees too. So I think that's going to be not a bad way to go about getting my quad work in. Is, yeah, just lunge, lunge, lunge. Dicks. That was sad. Legs just did not want to do it. It was just a big nope. Heart's going like crazy. Legs are throbbing. They're like, no, we're tired. We can't keep lifting ourselves like this. But I remember last time when I started those out, it kind of had the same start, and it was fairly quickly that it kind of started coming in. My legs got used to it. So yes, it's concerning seeing that and considering what I want to be doing in the very not distant future. Come on, let's get some paint on here. However, at the same time, it should, like I said, the legs should start getting used to it soon. Okay, so we got the brown in there, or light black, or whatever color. I think this was a combination of let's see, we're gonna keep this camera angled down because I'm gonna have a lot of the stuff I'm doing today is going to be down in this area. I also realized I might have done 4 coats of red on the other stuff. I only have 1 coat of red on the little rope pieces, so I would like to do those as well. So I'll do a coat on those, and then I'll come back and do the gold and actually make that shine. And so looking at it, we're about a half hour in right now, so we should be able to get to the hair phase. The hair may not be right by the end of this video, but I should be able to at least get to that point. Okay, red we just had. That's orange. What are you? Bright red. Okay. So we got our bright red. Let's go and get ourselves a brush. This is good. It gives the gold even just a teeny bit longer to dry. And this shouldn't take too long. I just need to make sure not to grab onto certain areas. You know what, let's do the ones down below first. Am I on? I need to go a little lower. I see a little bit of yellow, or not yellow, white. It's like yellow, only different. Alright, we got that. Got that. Alright. Next. 1 out of 6. Done. So I have 2 on each foot, plus the 2 on the for the hips and the waist. So this should only take a couple minutes. But I can already feel the gold is dry, so that is good. And apparently I hit this stuff with everything before, so good thing we're doing another coat so we can cover up some of this junk that got on here. Once again, black does not cover particularly well, but okay, that one's in halfway there. And yeah, that took almost no time at all. Okay, so we got, I was about to say the legs are done. No, because it's the waist is still on the exact same section. And on one hand, we're kind of covering up marks and stuff that were missed. On the other, it's just going to make it a little more vivid. Because again, red does not cover particularly well. In small little sections like this, it's typically not terrible. But yeah, in larger swaths, it just doesn't cover well. Alright, so we got that side done. Last piece of this puzzle. Okay. Again, I'm just putting that back up. I'm just moving that out of the way real quick just so I can clean all this stuff out. Now we're going to see if we can make this gold shine. Let's move that out of the way. Let's get you back over here. Oh, let's see if we can get ourselves a good brush for this. None of those look particularly great. What do we have in this? Any of these look pretty good? This guy looks pretty good. Where's our gold? We have King's Gold Metallic. So again, if we just paint something gold with this, it will not show much of anything. So let's use this as our case in point. And let's just put the glasses down there. So let's see if I can do what I teach here. So if we take this and just kind of paint it on that, you can see it comes across as like this very kind of watery, I can't tell if the camera is zooming in or not, but it's a very kind of watery look, but it has the flecks, like the flakes and whatnot of the gold in it. So this is why we need a layer of gold on first before we put this on, and this will just give the shine. This also means I don't need to worry super much about cutting in perfectly. If I get to an edge, that's fine. If I don't get 100% to the edge, that's fine. This is just basically designed just to give it the shine. So it's not too hard, just like cover any kind of area. It just, you can see a little bling with it. Don't use the term bling that often, but I figure now is one of those times where I don't feel so bad about breaking out that terminology. So hopefully this will be relatively expedient. Let me move you over before I go and hit something. Yeah, when I take my glasses off and look at this, I realize everything is a little bit rough, but at the same time, I'm never going to be viewing things in real life from this close, so sometimes it's best to just not worry about that. It is part of the difference between doing this, between what a clay model looks like and what, say, a 3D printed something will look like. Clay will always kind of have a little bit of that kind of roughness to it. 3D will be, or like a computer printed model or whatnot, will have a different kind of feel, and it's part of the medium. It's part of what makes it fun. Okay, getting closer to the main event on this, which is these big guys on the legs. Just kind of working my way down there. Okay, here we go. Let's start with the fact my thumb is blocking everything that you're seeing. It's usually a good place to start. And again, I'm not doing a tight cut in, I'm not doing anything that's going to risk getting this paint on other stuff. I'm just kind of aiming for the middle of these areas and just going with it. I kind of think this green is going to take one more coat as well. Got that feeling. The nice thing is, if any of these areas look like they have too much shine after this, I can always redo the satin gold on top of this, and that will hide it all. I'm not going to know how this feels until I kind of reassemble everything together, and then we'll go from there. But typically, if you kind of have this kind of brass look or bronzish kind of look, whatever going on here, I think having a little bit of that, a little of that sheen goes a long way to making it feel like what it's supposed to feel like. Okay. Every now and again, I'm just kind of looking over, I'm shaking it off, I'm shaking the model just to kind of give myself a visual of if I'm on camera. So that's all that's about. And my goal is to not have my other hand get in the way. So yeah, just being able to do this is kind of an art form in and of itself. Forget the actual art. This is performance art. Which I'm hoping that more often than not I'm succeeding at. Can't be sure if true, but go back in there. If I tilt you up just a little bit, good goal is to make sure we don't miss anything. So let's just get all of this upper part in here. Then we can do all of the lower part together and we'll be good from there. Yeah, I know I'm not really talking about current events or any of that type of stuff right now, but this has been mostly kind of a modeling weekend, so you've seen most of the stuff that's been going on for me this weekend. I got a lot of catching up on this, and then, like I said, I spent like the last an hour and a half or so just kind of redoing multiple coats on like all these kind of bigger areas off camera. So I've generally been doing a lot of this stuff kind of this weekend, so there's not much more stuff to talk about. And you probably have noticed at one point or another by now, I mean, I'm 40 episodes in. I'm hoping you've probably noticed, but one thing I generally avoid talking about is political stuff. Yes, I enjoy going through those types of things. It's interesting watching like political intrigue type stuff, but when it comes to this medium and just kind of small talk stuff, that is one area I'm actively trying to avoid. So even if I'm grasping for things to talk about, I'm not going to go jump into political talk. It's just not going to happen. There are way too many pitfalls that can come, and if you're doing this to relax, doing this and watching this as either an educational thing or as a relaxing thing or whatever, that is the last direction I want to have this go, is in a political direction. So yes, I may sometimes run out of things to talk about, but at the same time, I really don't want to go in that direction. There are other times, places, and venues for that. This is not the one. Okay, so let's go move you out of the way, and let's see how we're doing. I just had a little piece of the green flop off there because I've been taking this thing on and off, and it's really, really tight. So I said there may be little touch-ups and things here and there. That's 100% fine, but I think we're up to the hair at this point, finally. So that said, I'm putting this stuff together, but I will warn you, I'm not going to stick this in that at this point. I'm going to have to kind of do that, stick this in here. I'm going to have to do that kind of off camera because there's going to be like red streaks when I'm coming down here. There's going to be gray streaks coming through this thing. This is all going to need to be touched up after it goes in. And once it goes in, I think it is never going to come back out again. So I'm just going to hold off on that. I will never find the little hole for this thing just by kind of stabbing in the dark. It's just, that is never going to happen. But okay, so let's get this stuff all on here, kind of see what we're working with. What time do we have? We have about 15 minutes, so I'm not going to get super far on the hair. But all in all, I think that's working out. I think we're doing okay. So let's see. So if I kind of want to do hair, doing him kind of up here may not be bad. I can give a little bit of an idea on how it reads in relation to other areas. But let's see. We had started with the brown before. I think I can start with the brown on the highlights right now. Let's actually put him back here. I love how this little thing is rolling. It's on the edge of my mat here, and it's kind of rolling over on itself, which is super cool. And we're going to need to... I'm just going to start with this brown up front, and then we kind of blend it back into the black, I think. And let's see, how about I do you as a little bit of up close. It's going to be not really going to need to blend it into the black. It's going on a little lighter than I thought it would. Or a little darker, sorry. That's like the exact opposite of what I was thinking. And all I'm aiming for is just kind of getting nothing on camera. But all I'm really aiming for is just kind of getting the front edge of a lot of these. So the back half can be the darker, front half of all these kind of prongs is going to be the lighter. And then I can add lightness or darkness to either side depending how things kind of play out. Same time, this may make it look a little bit muddier than it otherwise is, but we're gonna try and just hope that in the end all of this will work. I almost want to mix a little bit more lighter color in this. I thought I was going to be mixing a little bit of the black just to kind of get it closer to the dark color so it wouldn't read quite the way it was, but it might actually need the exact opposite. I might need to put a little bit more kind of tan or something in here just to make it read a little better. It's brighter. It does brighten it up a little bit, so that's good. But yeah, I think start with this coat. Start with this coat, kind of on the upfront things. And then I could add a little more lightness to it. This part is not an exact science. It's just gonna go until either it looks muddy as heck and I still have the old paint, I can just go right back over it again and bring it right back to what it was. Or I can just do the entire thing in this, which will also kind of lighten the whole thing up. That will do its job. We're just gonna hope this kind of works. Am I even getting paint out of here? Kind of. I've been doing the entire thing off camera. My bad. My bad. We did the thing. We did the thing again. Okay, does that lighten it up enough? Do a little bit more. That does, I said this does help. That does help lighten it up a little bit. I think I'm going to go a little bit more, which means it's mixing time. Okay, so I need something to mix that with, not an orange. We have a little golden brown. I can use that. So we're going to add a little bit of brown to this. And just a realize this color has not been mixed. Give me a second here. I need 1 second to actually mix this thing, because that was not good. That was not an actual color that came out of this. Let's get one of these. Okay, I think we're a little bit too light. But this is going to be one of those we just kind of put a little bit on, change it, put a little bit on, change it. So I'm not super concerned with things being 100% on this. Yeah, it lightens it up. It's not lightening it as much as I first thought it was, so that's good. It seemed a little too much on the light kind of side before, so I'm just kind of blending it just a teeny bit with the finger, just so we have a little bit of a transition zone on it. Is not a bad thing. Yeah, the only danger of doing this stuff is everything else is like shadows and stuff are depicted naturally, where you have kind of one color, and where this is kind of forcing a shadow on one side. So there's a little bit of a risk in doing that in terms of trying to make it look right. But at the same time, if it does work, it does lighten things up quite a bit, which is nice. And it was really dark before, so I'm just trying to get some light highlights and not much past that. If it has a little bit of a gradation, that's fine. So we have a lot of the darks kind of on the back side here. Then we can have a bunch of these lights on the top. I feel like I've had mixed results on this. Cats wound up okay when I did this, but I think there's still stuff to be figured out and work to be done on figuring out this end of things. Yeah, it's getting kind of the seams between a highlight spot and a low light spot is the trick. You don't want it to be super stark, but at the same time you do kind of want to show a difference. So that's why if I can do something like that, just kind of touch it up a little bit. Okay, so if we have that, I probably did everything off camera again. But as we can see, it's getting lighter. Lighter is okay. I'm dropping stuff. Okay, so if I want just a little bit more, we're going to add just a touch of this. Where was my mixer? Let's see if we can just... one or two of these kind of, as we start getting lighter and lighter, I want it to be kind of geographically kind of smaller areas on here. We don't need to keep rehashing the same physical spots over and over. But lightening up, it does make it a little blotchier, because again, we now have that kind of gradation going down. But I think in the end, doing this is worth it. Yeah, I definitely have not been talking that much throughout this portion. So if you're here for the dialogue, well, this was one of those sessions. If you're here to see huge gains, well, maybe this was a good session. Unsure. It's one of those necessary ones, like I said, there's going to be... It's probably just a few minutes to go left on this, depending how the decal stuff goes. If I do decide to draw out a little outline on that, I'm going to probably do the drawing part off camera, and I can just actually apply the paint on camera, in which case, like I said, ideally the way this goes is within the next couple sessions, 2 more sessions, this will be entirely done. I'll match that with doing the base, get those things together kind of in there. And I'll kind of physically make that stuff next time. Again, I have an idea how to do a cobblestone thing. It shouldn't take that long to do. I can probably do that, yeah, within say the 45 minutes. It might take like 15 minutes, whatever, to do the decal stuff, and then just a little bit longer to do. Then probably, yeah, within the 45 minutes, I can probably carve out all of the cobblestone stuff that I want to do. I will need to make a base and whatnot big enough. I have some boards here. I can bring them to work over like the next day. So I can at least cut out the main pieces I need. And then once I get the blank part, then I can kind of work from there without an issue. But yeah, no, next time should be painting phase of him done. and we'll start the base. And then I think the time after that, so that'll be Saturday. And then hopefully on Sunday is just paint the base up and be done. And that will be it. Let me put this thing in plastic real quick, just in case I want to touch up this a little bit more off camera. Because yeah, off camera I'll probably do one more coat. Probably do one more coat on the green. It needs it. And then I'll look and see if anything else needs touching up. I'll do those little things at that point, so that all that's going to be left is the decal stuff. And that will be it. But I'm not sliding the nail into here. Not going to happen. Don't even tempt me. But, boop. I love hearing that little click when it goes in. That just lets me know that it's done. I know I made the hair to sit lower on him, but I think it looks better when it's actually up a little bit because I can see the eyes. But yeah, that is Bang, and this is how he looks. Do we need this thing on here? Does that look stupid on there? Let's go and bring my original side Bang in here. Yeah, I don't think this thing is ever going to be used. I made it. It's on this image on the side. I don't think it's ever going to be used. No, but this is where we are. Like I said, outside of just like another coat of paint here and the decal stuff, I mean, this is Bang. This has been a fun project. I think it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. So if we zoom in more, I said he is smiling. I wish this camera would zoom in for once when I wanted to. Yeah, look at that smile. He's happy this thing is good. He's happy this all worked out in the end. No, I think this has been fun. I've had a lot of fun with this one. So it's gonna be sad to see it end basically in the next session or two, but it's gonna be time to move on. There are other ones I got to go for. We're going Valkyria Chronicles. More than likely, it's going to be Valkyria Chronicles next. When it starts, I'll figure that out. I'll let you know either in the comment sections of the end, or I'll go over it when I'm making the base stuff. But yeah, we'll deal with that when we get there. Otherwise, this has been the next part of the Bang Shishigami project, part number 40. And enjoy.